Hi, everybody. This is our first edition of the Westfield TAPinto podcast. We're here with the owner, operator of Westfield TAPinto, Jackie Lieberman. Hi, Jackie.
Hi, how are you?
Good. It's good to have you on our first show.
Thank you for having our show.
So you started out, and you didn't originally start out in local news. Where did you start out?
Well, actually, my very first paid journalism job was at a Jewish newspaper in Kansas, so I don't think you get much smaller as far as community news goes than that.
Okay, so you started out in small town newspaper, then you went to a bigger market?
Yeah, so I went to school in Des Moines, Iowa to study magazines. I went to Drake University, and I got some jobs working at places like Better Homes and Gardens. I came out to New York City. I had an internship at Field and Stream, which is in New York City, believe it or not. And that was a terrific experience. So I ended up in women's magazines. I worked for one called Family Life. I was their editorial assistant. And then I went on, I was a food editor at Woman's World for 4 years. And that was great. And then after that, I freelanced for a number of years.
And how long have you been with Westfield TAPinto?
Gosh, I'm losing track of time. Something like 4 years. Yeah. So it's been a really great adventure. I'm really enjoying it.
And what is unique about covering the Westfield market?
Westfield's a terrific town. We have an amazing sense of community here. And I'm always telling people I actually live in Scotch Plains, and everyone forgets because I can see Westfield from my house, right? But the Westfield community is just a really terrific community to be a part of, whether you're somebody who lives there or somebody who works there or you're just very involved there.
In your 4 years or 4+ years of doing this, are there any stories that particularly jump out at you that you can really remember as being special to you?
You know, we have so many. It's amazing how many stories you can have in a medium-sized town like Westfield, where every week there seems to be something different that is very important to us here. Whether it was the collapse of the roof over at Trader Joe's and the rebuilding of Trader Joe's, there have been times when people had a fire at their home, and we've seen the whole community come together and help them out, which is always amazing to see how much everybody comes together for each other here. It's a great town to cover.
Let's talk about Trader Joe's. I know personally, I live in Westfield. That was a huge story. I don't think everyone realized how much they loved Trader Joe's till it was actually gone for that amount of time.
Well, you know, when we moved here, my husband and I moved here, we moved to Scotch Plains. One of the main reasons we chose Scotch Plains was proximity to that Trader Joe's. We're like, oh, they have a Trader Joe's. We could practically walk there. Let's move here. I think people did very much appreciate it. And when it was gone, it left a huge hole, not just in our grocery shopping, but also in our downtown. And some of the businesses felt that. Afterwards, they said they got a lot less foot traffic when Trader Joe's wasn't around. You know, people come from Pennsylvania to shop at that Trader Joe's. It's one of 2 Trader Joe's in the state that can actually sell alcohol. So if you're coming to get your cheap wine and your beer and your deals on liquor, and you're not coming for that anymore, you're also not coming to eat at Vicky's and Butcher Burger and shopping at the stores.
Maybe everyone doesn't exactly know what happened to Trader Joe's, how it actually ended up going down.
Is there anybody who missed that story? I don't know. We had a big blizzard last January. Just like a winter's worth of snow fell at once, and it was too much for the roof of Trader Joe's, and the roof collapsed. And fortunately, everybody had gone home because of the blizzard, and there was nobody inside the store, and nobody got hurt. But then, you know, they had to bulldoze the whole thing. I don't know if I ever told you this story. When they bulldozed the store, you could smell the wine. It was running in rivers down the sidewalk. I think the squirrels were very happy that day.
And what's funny is just when Trader Joe's, the roof collapsed at the same time, Vine Ripe opened pretty much right after that. What kind of timing was that for the Vine Ripe people to have that happen?
I can't remember if they opened right after that or right before. There was definitely a hole in our small gourmet supermarket market at the time, so I think that worked out in their favor. And they always told me, though, they didn't want to profit off of somebody else's loss, which I think is very nice of them. They've been a terrific addition to our town too.
Now that Trader Joe's is back up and running, have the two been able to coexist? Do you think they work well together?
They're very different types of stores. I mean, obviously, we can all buy only so much groceries, but they're not competitive in that they sell the same sorts of things.
And in other areas of Westfield, what other areas have you seen like a specialty that is unique to Westfield in addition to the Trader Joe's and the Vine Ripe and the shop and the food stores?
A specialty to Westfield? That's a good question. Westfield, we're very on top of all the trends. You know, we've got a bunch of places now that have fresh pressed juice. I don't know if you've been over to the Feast Catering and Cafe. They've had juice for a number of years now. I think about 3 years, and it's fantastic. But you see all these juice places coming in, and everybody's trying to eat healthy. There's a new salad place coming in. Everybody's eating chopped salads. That's another one that Feast has always done and done really well. So we're on top of the healthy trends. We've got a lot of fitness places coming in. We've got bar classes you can take, and yoga and Pilates. So I think we're very on top of things. I think we can, people who come here from places like Hoboken and New York go, oh, good, you have that. We got a new ramen place. I mean, we're on top of the trends.
So yeah, well, there's a lot of people transplanted from Hoboken, Upper West Side, Upper East Side, and when they arrive here, they don't want their lifestyle to change drastically.
Yeah, they want the bigger house and the yard and the good school for their kids, but they still want all that stuff that they enjoyed in the city.
And what type of exercise classes are there that you're aware of in the area in Westfield?
Oh, we've got everything. We've got Power Stretch Studios, which was just in the New York Times. Anything that you want to look for, we probably have here. We have the JCC right next door in Scotch Plains. We've got the Westfield Area Y. Just tons of great options for staying healthy.
Well, there's an area of New York City they call the exercise area now. It's on around 15th Street and 7th and 8th Avenue. And it seems like Westfield is entering that market with all, because I drive around, I see all these specialty exercise studios opening up.
Yeah, we even have one that will come to your house. Gym guys will take their van, they'll bring their stuff to your house, and you can work out there. I think this is a town where people care very much about taking care of themselves.
And let's talk about this week. Is there any stories this week that have been that have really been exciting for you?
I don't know if it's been the most exciting week, which I guess is a good thing for a town. We've had some really fun things happen. Of course, you covered the Westfield Spelling Bee yesterday. That was terrific. We had some grand openings. We had, this is interesting. We talk about downtown. There's some big places that went out of business from downtown, especially the chains that are closing nationally. But then you have this little shop called Urban Society that actually opened a bigger shop now. It's like 3 or 4 times the size of the one they used to have. And that's over on South Avenue. So there's some growth happening.
And what do they specialize in? What is their store?
Well, they specialize in fabrics and sewing classes and sewing workshops. And it's interesting because they said they even do birthday parties, and adults can go for a sip and sew or a sip and stitch.
Oh, I drove by. It's right on, and I saw the kids in there. They take classes and do things like that in there.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and I think it's a great way to relieve stress. Just like knitting has become very popular, I think sewing is becoming popular too.
So it's for all ages. It's not just for kids. It's all adults, kids.
Everybody, yeah. Yeah, kids ages 7 and up, and adults.
Have you gone in there and taken a class or experimented with it?
I don't sew. I took home ec. A little known fact about me: I used to be a food editor, and I went to the culinary school in New York City. But I cannot sew, so Martha Stewart has a lot over me.
Maybe you should. That's a good place to start for you then.
It could be, yeah. I might have to go try it.
And I did do the spelling bee last night. It was really a really cool event. The kids are really. It's amazing how the words that they could spell, and they took such pride in being there. And actually, the ones who won, the parents are so proud of them. But all the kids really did a great job at the spelling bee, and it really showed how bright and smart the Westfield kids are. I'm
so impressed with Westfield students. We have an internship program with Westfield High School. With students at the Westfield High School, I should say. It's run privately by TAP. The kids who come to write for me, I'm so amazed. Some of them write on a level that's almost professional, and they're coming through these schools. And we see adults who can't write, and these kids can do it. I'm very impressed.
Yeah, the Westfield education is a good one. And then another story I did last week was on the football coach, Coach DeSarno, winning Coach of the Year. That's an amazing story in all of New Jersey. He's Coach of the Year, and the football program hasn't lost a game in 2 years. You go back to the calendar year 2015 is the last time they lost a game.
Yeah, that's been amazing, and I think town has really rallied around the football team, and and he's a terrific coach.
And what other, before we finish up, what other sports have been really going well for the Westfield High School?
We've been covering everything. You know, we have a girls ice hockey team now. This is their very first year doing girls ice hockey, and they just won a game not too long ago, which is amazing because a lot of those girls do not have a ton of experience. So we're having a lot of fun watching that. And, you know, all the teams are doing terrific, the boys swimming team especially.
Well, swimming is big in Westfield, girls and boys. They've
Yes.
developed a good program from the youth ages, and then it goes right up through to high school.
Yeah, and we're big supporters of them. And, you know, we have an Athlete of the Week. Definitely check out the Athlete of the Week. It's sponsored by Ron Bansky and Associates All-State Agency, and that's one of our more popular features.
Who was the last Athlete of the Week that you featured?
It was Muriel Maloney, and she's a swimmer on the girls' swim team.
So it sounds like there's a lot going on in Westfield, always.
Always. There's always something going on in Westfield.
Well, we'll be back with another podcast next week, and we'll talk more about what's going on in Westfield and cover stories and all the interesting aspects in the town of Westfield. Jackie, thank you very much for being aboard for our first show.
Thank you.
Okay, and we'll see you next week. Thank you very much. Goodbye, everybody.